Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing something we've never done before. We are having a conversation with a mind from the past to make sense of our present. We are creatures of comfort, drawn to the safety of reason and the clarity of logic. We build our lives upon the solid ground of what we know, what we can prove, and what our senses can verify. When faced with a choice, we weigh the evidence, consult the experts, and seek a rational path forward. We trust in the universal principles of ethics and the collective wisdom of our community to guide us. But what if the most important questions in life lie beyond the reach of reason? What if the highest truths demand not a logical argument, but a terrifying and solitary leap? Our guest today is the man who stared into this chasm, a Danish philosopher who argued that the most profound act of human existence is not found in the collective, but in the individual's radical and personal commitment to the absurd. Born in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1813, Søren Kierkegaard was a philosopher, theologian, and religious author who is widely regarded as the father of existentialism. His life was marked by a melancholy disposition, a deep sense of irony, and a passionate yet conflicted relationship with both his father and the established church of his time. He was a prolific writer, often publishing under a variety of pseudonyms, each with its own distinct voice and perspective. Kierkegaard's work was a direct critique of the philosophical systems of his day, particularly the all-encompassing rationalistic system of Hegel. He argued that these grand systems ignored the lived reality of the individual, the subjective experience of choice, and the profound anxiety of existence. He was a fierce advocate for the individual, the solitary man, who must confront his own freedom and responsibility in the face of an uncertain world. His works, though largely ignored in his lifetime, would become a foundational inspiration for 20th century philosophy and theology. Welcome to a dialogue that takes us to the razor's edge of faith and reason. Our conversation today is a deep exploration of the ideas presented in a book that is as challenging as it is profound, Fear and Trembling. Our discussion will revolve around our guest's radical and unsettling argument about the nature of true faith, the concept of the leap of faith, and the solitary responsibility of the individual in a world that often seems devoid of a higher purpose. We will delve into his critique of universal morality and his defense of the individual's singular existential act.
Mr. Kierkegaard, thank you for joining us. Let's begin with the title of your book. What is the central concern of Fear and Trembling?
The central concern is the nature of faith, as demonstrated in the story of Abraham and Isaac. It is a meditation on the paradox of faith, the radical, terrifying act that transcends universal ethics. It is about a father who is commanded to do something unthinkable, something that contradicts all moral laws for the sake of a higher personal relationship with God.
You often contrast the ethical with the religious in your work. What is the difference between these two spheres of existence?
The ethical is the universal, the realm of duty and moral law that applies to all of us. The religious, in its highest form, is a private, passionate, and solitary relationship with the divine. The ethical man is a good citizen, a good father, and a good neighbor, but the man of faith, like Abraham, makes a temporary suspension of the ethical for a higher purpose. He acts on a singular individual command that cannot be explained or justified to the world.
This sounds like a terrifying and dangerous idea. You were suggesting that faith is not a matter of logical certainty, but of radical uncertainty.
Faith is not a matter of a few rational probabilities. It is a passionate, subjective commitment. If faith were a matter of logical proof, it would no longer be faith, it would be knowledge. The greatness of Abraham is not that he was a man of reason, but that he was a man of faith. He acted in a state of absolute uncertainty on a promise that seemed to contradict all reason and morality.
This brings us to your concept of the leap of faith. What does this leap entail?
The leap of faith is not a philosophical proposition. It is an existential act. It is the moment when the individual, in a state of profound anxiety and with a complete lack of objective certainty, commits themselves to the absurd. It is a leap from the comfortable universal realm of ethics into a personal, paradoxical relationship with the divine.
So, a person's faith cannot be explained or shared in a rational way with others.
No. The ethical can be explained, debated, and understood by all, but the religious act is a private and silent one. It is the individual, standing alone before God, without a community, a church, or a rational argument to support them. It is in this profound solitude that the most significant act of selfhood takes place.
You have been called the father of existentialism. What, in your view, is the role of anxiety and despair in the development of a person's selfhood?
Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. It is the fundamental condition of the human being who is aware of their radical freedom to choose, and the responsibility that comes with that choice. Despair is the state of not being oneself. Both are necessary stages. It is in confronting our anxiety and despair that we are forced to move beyond a life of simple pleasure or duty and into a life of authentic selfhood.
How would you distinguish between the man of faith and the man who is simply a fanatic or a murderer?
The man of faith is a knight of infinite resignation. He has given up everything for the sake of his faith, but he has done so in solitude and with profound grief. The fanatic, on the other hand, is a man who is so certain of his cause that he can justify anything in its name. The fanatic has no fear and no trembling. He is an ideologue, not a man of faith.
You were a fierce critic of the organized church of your time. What was your main criticism?
The church of my time had become a comfortable institution, a social club. It had made faith a matter of routine, of customs, and social norms. It had replaced the terrifying, personal, and passionate relationship with God with a set of easy, universal creeds. It had removed the fear and trembling from faith, and in doing so, had eliminated faith itself.
Mr. Kierkegaard, if you were to look upon the modern world, a world of technological certainty, collective identity, and the pursuit of comfort, what would you say is the greatest challenge to a life of faith and meaning?
I would say the greatest challenge is the illusion that we are not individuals at all. In the face of the endless distractions and the constant noise of the crowd, we lose our sense of self. We are so busy being a part of something that we forget to be someone. The greatest challenge today is to find the courage to be a solitary man, to stand alone in the face of uncertainty, and to make the inward, passionate leap that is required for an authentic existence.
Søren Kierkegaard's philosophy is a radical and enduring defense of the individual. He reminds us that the most significant truths in life are not found in the comfort of reason or the security of the collective, but in the terrifying and personal act of faith. His work challenges us to move beyond a life of mere existence and to embrace the profound anxiety of our own freedom, to become, in his words, the knights of faith who dare to make the inward passionate leap toward meaning.